So congrats on your movie.
Thank
I
you.
know it takes a lot of effort to put stuff like that out there. Let me see. So I know you've spoken on like toxic black culture and all that stuff. Besides public speaking, what are you doing to combat against toxic black culture? And then how does your movie BLM add to what you're doing? Do you see how it can add to it? Do you see how it can hinder the movement? I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked it, obviously, because it just lets me brag about myself. So the thing that the media never tells about anybody, and it is so infuriating that they ever say about me, is that it's just like, Candace is just critiquing Black America, and then they just strip away everything that I do for Black America. I run a charity. It's called Blexit.com. It's a successful charity, and we are in 39, actually now 41 states. You can go on to Blexit.com, and you can see what we are doing in these inner cities. We have after-school programs in which we pick up these children that are in disadvantaged districts, and we bring them so that they can learn different ideas, and so that their parents don't have to worry about them being on the streets. Aside from after-school programs, we run summer camps for these children so that they have somewhere to go, so that their parents don't have to worry about them being on the streets. Aside from just complaining about BLM and all the destruction that it brought to inner cities, we raised over $100,000 and gave it. We picked Black businesses that had been destroyed in the George Floyd riots, and we gave it to them. Now, I'm telling you all this stuff because the media never will. They need to paint me as a monster and a person that hates my own race, because I have higher expectations, because we should have higher expectations. And there's been this routine lowering of the bar. In terms of the documentary, my purpose in producing that film was that I never thought that there was a more toxic narrative for Black America than the George Floyd story and the lies surrounding it. And I wanted to do that film in a compassionate way, because after speaking to his roommates, I felt sad. This was a man that was struggling with drug addiction. Drug addiction is something that probably every single person in this room can relate to. Somebody in your family, a cousin, a brother. This is something that touches Americans. And the George Floyd story should have been a story that brought Americans together. And it's not his fault that after he died, horrible people used the media narrative to divide Americans, to burn down Black inner city communities, and to raise BLM into the multi-million-dollar organization that essentially stole from Americans. And so I wanted to expose all of that, because I think that once you expose a lie that big, it helps people be less emotional and to really understand, which was, I think, the thesis of my film, which is that the media is our enemy.
So then, what can I do to add to what you're doing?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said, what can I do to add to what you're doing?
Join Blexit. We join the Blexit chapter. Get involved. Every single person. I better see Blexit numbers going off. As soon as you got here, Blexit.com. See what we're doing. And it's an organization it's small pocket donors that give $1 a month that allows us to do what we do and to actually make a difference. And honestly, it's the best part of what I get to do, other than going home to my children.
So I just wanted to add to what Candace Owens was saying about, just some of the things that we can do to help with the toxic Black culture. And what I mean about the whole toxic Black culture is actually a lot of lack of fathers in the homes. There's a lot of single mothers, and there's things, the culture as far as music and, calling each other names and things like that. We need to cut that out, and I agree with Candace when it comes to holding ourselves to a higher standard. And that's even as a Christian, God is the standard, and there's rules and principles in place that He has given us to live to those standards. And so I wanted to point that out and talk about that, because in my last video, when I talk about the toxic Black culture with Thomas Sowell, he gives it in a way of statistics, and I just wanted to showcase that and actually talk about that. Let's have a discussion about a lot of these Black cultures, this toxic Black culture that we have. The Black Lives Matter documentary that Candace Owens did, I actually seen that documentary, and it's actually really impressive. Some of the things that I didn't know that the social media did not show, and a lot of things that she mentioned even in this video I've seen in that documentary. And the social media is not going to show you that she actually paid for and helped the roommates of George Floyd. And so if you haven't seen that documentary, I definitely encourage you, because it will actually give you more of an awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement and the hurt and the pain that it actually actually caused this black culture. So instead of lifting us up, it actually made us worse. And so it's actually sad. And so I just wanted to talk about that really quick and actually, again, bring awareness and how we can actually stop this black culture, this toxic black culture. And a lot of things that she mentioned is how we can do that is tell the truth to each other. You know, actually not just talking about the things that we have done, but actually instead of just saying the victimhood mindset and blaming everything on, the next race or any other race or blaming somebody else on why they are the way they are, what about let's take a responsibility? And not only that, what reminded me of this, of everything that Candace Owens was talking about and that I wanted to bring up is from the Bible. It actually talks about in Matthew chapter 22, verses 36 to 40, it says, "Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law?" And he said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets." And I just see that Candace Owens does that by talking about the actual problems and bringing awareness to a lot of the toxic black culture. And she talks about it in the music, she talks about it with the families, and even in the education, and we need to bring awareness to it. And I just wanted to just bring awareness, tell you the truth, and share these different videos and react to it and show you that, there is a higher standard. Jesus Christ and God has given us the principles that we can live by. And so again, if you have more questions or comments about everything that I'm talking about, leave them in the comment section below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and again, let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and tune into my next video. Be blessed.